Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare.
Jaya Radha Vrindavan Chandra Radha Vrindavan Chandra Radhe.
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 Jaya Vrindavan Dham Jaya Vrindavan Dham Vrindavan Dham Jaya Vrindavan Dham.
Jaya Vrindavan Dham Jaya Vrindavan Dham Vrindavan Dham Jaya Vrindavan Dham.
Jaya Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga.
Jaya Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gaurango Jaya Nitai Gaurango.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Prabhupada.
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 Jai Vrindavan Kacharya Stotrashta Shri Srimad Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जाय. नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जाय. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जाय. प्रेम से गो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada की जाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, Chapter 25, Text 25. Satam prasangan mama virya samvido. Satam prasangan mama virya samvido. Bhavanti hritkarna rasayana kataha. Bhavanti hritkarna rasayana kataha. Tajjoshanadashva atmani. Adashva apavargavartmani. Shraddharatir bhakti. Satam prasangan mama virya samvido. Bhavanti hritkarna rasayana kataha. Tajjoshanadashvapavargavartmani. Shraddharatir bhakti. Satam of pure devotees. Prasangat through the association. Mama my. Virya wonderful activities. Samvidaha by discussion of. Bhavanti, become. Hrit, to the heart. Karna, to the ear. Rasayanaha, pleasing. Kataha, stories. Tat, of that. Joshanat, quickly. Apavarga, liberation. Vartmani, on the path. Shraddha, firm faith. Ratihi, attraction. Bhaktihi, devotion. Anukramishati, will follow in order. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In the association of pure devotees, discussion of the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and the heart. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation, and thereafter he is freed, and his attraction becomes fixed. Then real devotion and devotional service begins. Purport. The process of advancing in Krishna consciousness and devotional service is described here. The first point is that one must seek the association of persons who are Krishna conscious and who engage in devotional service. Without such association, one cannot make advancement. Simply by theoretical knowledge or study, one cannot make any appreciable advancement. One must give up the association of materialistic persons and seek the association of devotees, because without the association of devotees, one cannot understand the activities of the Lord. Generally, people are convinced of the impersonal feature of the absolute truth. Because they do not associate with devotees, they cannot understand that the absolute truth can be a person and can have personal activities. This is a very difficult subject matter. And unless one has personal understanding of the absolute truth, there is no meaning to devotion. Service or devotion cannot be offered to anything impersonal. Service must be offered to a person. Non-devotees cannot appreciate Krishna consciousness by reading the Srimad Bhagavatam or any other Vedic literature wherein the activities of the Lord are described. They think that they are fiction, manufactured stories, because spiritual life is not explained to them in proper mood. To understand the personal activities of the Lord, one has to seek the association of devotees, and by such association, when one contemplates and tries to understand the transcendental activities of the Lord, then his path to liberation is open and he is freed. One who has firm faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes fixed, and his attraction for the association with the Lord and the devotees increase. Association with devotees means association with the Lord. The devotee who makes this association develops the consciousness for rendering service to the Lord, and then, being gradually in the transcendental position of devotion service, he gradually becomes perfect. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjanachalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Please repeat the translation. In the association of pure devotees, discussion of the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and the heart. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation, and thereafter he is freed and his attraction becomes fixed. The real devotion and devotion service begin. So we see here this verse very often quoted by Srila Prabhupada. This stresses how the path of Srimad Bhagavatam is not simply a path of speculative knowledge or even rational knowledge, but it is a path of associating with the ocean of the internal energy of the Lord. Krishna consciousness process is progressive process of Krishna consciousness is about intensive association with Krishna. Srila Prabhupada therefore established a discipline, a sadhana, by which we directly associate with the Lord 5-6 hours in the morning, and then rest of the day somehow dovetail our guna, kala, karma forces. Each of us have these forces operating on us 24 hours, guna, kala and karma. That is called destiny. We are born with a destiny. So these forces of guna, kala and karma is moving our life minute after minute, day after day, month after month, year after year, from birth to death. This is a fact. Prakrite kriyamanani gune karmani sarvashaha. Prakriti is moving our bodies, our mind, our intelligence. But for those who choose the path of Krishna consciousness, everything changes. Those who are not in the path of Krishna consciousness, they are living the life of karma, future karma, a life for another birth in this material world, where there is no, people are acting, enjoying, relating, all activities they are doing in this world without Krishna in the picture. That is the everyone's world, false world in their individual minds. Each karmi carries his false world within his mind. Why it is called false world? Because it is based on a false ego, that I am independent. There is no understanding of any relationship with Krishna. But those who come across a pure devotee, just like we have all come across Srila Prabhupada, by his association, through his words, by association of devotees who are his servants, we somehow get the transcendental essence of transcendental knowledge, which is Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we are all his part and parcels. Krishna is Satchidananda Vigraha, we are also Satchidananda Vigraha, but somehow we are trapped in this material body, and in the material body we are trying to enjoy Satta Chitta and Ananda, and that is the material existence. And those who forget that they are part and parcel of Krishna, they are maintained by Krishna, they are protected by Krishna. Those who do not live for Krishna, then they are mercilessly beaten by Maya, the three modes of material nature. The consciousness is trapped. The consciousness of three modes of material nature is the experience of asat, all fake things, mind mappings, illusory illusions in the head, asat, achit, full of ignorance, not seeing things as they are, and nirananda. Where there is no ananda, we think there is ananda. We think jada ananda, the pleasure that we get from material body, material senses is pleasure, we think. So, we get trapped. The living entities get liberated from this trap the moment they surrender to Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada gives us the experience of Satta Chitta and Ananda, opposite of what we described. Our mind becomes free from illusion. Our heart shines with transcendental knowledge of spirit, spirit world, and the dead nature of material energy. All this chit energy from the spiritual world flows into the heart through the spiritual master. And Ananda, real Ananda of the soul, is a pleasure of, is a joy and love of Krishna. Love of Krishna and joy of serving Him. This is the soul's original pleasure. Jadananda that we experience, or material pleasure that we experience here, is not that of the soul. The soul is dormant, sleeping. So the spiritual master transmits transcendental sound through Bhaktivedanta purports. Literary incarnations like Vyasadeva, they have transmitted the transcendental knowledge from the spiritual world by association with that sound, with association with the devotees who speak about these transcendental truths. And the pastimes of the Lord when He was here on this earth. So here it is said, Satam prasanga mama virya samvido, of pure devotees, prasangat, through the association, my wonderful activities, those who discuss, bhavanti, become, hritkarna rasayanaha, their heart tastes, rasayana, hrit, karna, ears and the heart, they taste rasayana. And what is the result of that? Very interesting. Hrit karna rasayana, it says, Shraddha ratir bhakti anukramishati, follows in order. As you go on hearing Srila Prabhupada's lectures, as you go on reading Bhaktivedanta purports, as you go on reading Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, they're very important. If your head is, there's no content of these things in your head, you don't send this content into your heart, into your mind, there is no question of making advancement in spiritual life. Let's say somebody doesn't read Prabhupada's books, only do, okay, my service. Service is a dovetailing. Rather, if you don't hear and if you don't send Krishna inside at least 5 hours every day, this is a program of Prabhupada. 5-6 hours you send Krishna inside directly. At that time there is no question of thinking of I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do that. No. You got rest of the hours for that. From 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock you got time. Postpone it. That's a dovetailing devotional service. This is a direct devotional service. So one has to understand, one is the horse, other is a cart. If you don't strengthen don't feed the horse, simply you polish the cart, what is the use? Rather, if you do not have a strong 5 hours satam prasangam, then the preaching that we do, all the organization work that we do will deposit false ego, will deposit in us exactly opposite of what we want to establish. What? Through dovetailing devotion service, through organizational work, what do we want? We want to train our mind to be the servant of the Lord, servant of the Lord. This is a training. It is not that we are any achievers, doers. We are servants, getting an opportunity to purify our heart. Mercifully, Krishna gives us devotional service, preaching devotional service. Prabhupada has given us an opportunity. So even 5 hours, if we don't observe ourselves in directly sending Krishna inside our ears, Hrit Karna Rasayana, or at least 2 hours of very serious japa, Krishna Nama is Krishna himself. If Krishna Nama does not go, if you don't hear the Krishna Nama, Krishna Katha begins with Krishna Nama. Name, form, qualities, leelas. So it starts with Nama, glories of the Nama. So we have to hear the glories of the Nama. We have to hear the glories of Krishna's qualities. It says, Mama Virya, wonderful activities. We have the glories of leelas. Everything is glorious about Krishna. His parikara, his associates, glories, especially for the modern age. Through the preaching mission, preaching engagement, we all have a chance to be 24 hours in devotional service. Without the preaching mission, it's 24 hours. People cannot do this nice program where you have this paramarthik connection with the Lord, paramarthik service, direct service of chanting and hearing. And then of course, for Prabhupada there is no difference between, a day will come when preaching service is also at the paramarthik plane, when it is pure devotional service, unmotivated by any false ego. That is a stage that will come, but unless the horse becomes very strong, by first hearing, reading, discussing Krishna Katha, there is no question of our preaching devotion service becoming purified. If we don't have a strong hearing program, then the preaching, organizational preaching work, as the years pass by, it keeps developing, it keeps depositing in us very deep false egos, which will simply cover all the good sadhana that we have done. So many times young devotees, they join this Krishna consciousness movement and they get very excited that, oh, I want to preach, and this sadhana is secondary, waiting for 10 o'clock. Kya karne ka hai? Because that is easy. Why? Because your gunakala karma forces are there. Anyway, force is there, so you dovetail it. When it comes to japa, simply you have to chant and hear. There is no gunakala karma there. That is why you sleep. We don't have any rasa there. When you are doing management, you never fall asleep. That's also devotional. We never fall asleep. When we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, fall asleep. Commission nahi hai udhar. You are forced to directly associate. Yeah? Of course, sometimes किसी को दिखाना है, मैं इतना किया, इतना माला किया, उतना माला किया, then चलेगा. So that is also motivation. Huh? So pure devotionals, great opportunity for us. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says this chanting, first it is aushadhi for the mind. Fill our minds with Nama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. During those 2 hours, just fill with the Shabda, not anything else. Extremely powerful it is. So, what happens first? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says it becomes, first it is for aushadhi for our chitta. Our contaminated consciousness. When your body is contaminated, you take medicine. If you're sick, it's out of order, you take medicine. So, aushadhi. So, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, even if you have no Shraddha, that is why it is said, by starting with hearing, there's something even before Shraddha. Simply you have to hear. And then Shraddha itself will come. After Shraddha, attachment will come, Rati. After that, Bhakti will come. This is what is mentioned in this verse. Everything follows in order. So this is a science. Krishna consciousness is a science. You cannot do whatever you want and expect the results to come. You cannot. But if you do the following process, 100% result will come. So we fail in our process, executing the process of Krishna consciousness as prescribed by the spiritual master. Therefore we lag behind. We still feel material consciousness is attacking us. Why? Because we don't follow what Srila Prabhupada has told us. And even if we follow, we don't follow properly as per Vidhi. So first it acts as a aushadhi, then it acts as a rasayana for the soul. Rasa ayana. It gives rasa to the soul. It's like a tonic for the soul. Medicine for the mind, tonic for the soul. So our mind, this prescription that is given here, that we have to hear Katha, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, from the devotees, from the pure devotees of the Lord, or those who are representing the pure devotees of the Lord. If you don't hear Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, if you don't hear every day, you don't begin bhakti. The proof of all our life is maybe 2 lines we heard properly in one book of Prabhupada. 2 or 3 lines or 1 page of Prabhupada would have gone deep into your heart, though you became devotee. You got Shraddha in Krishna. You got Shraddha in Krishna. So imagine how powerful it is, this process. So we have to exercise our free will to input content. See, our mind has got content. Mind has got function and mind has got content. What do you put in your mind? Especially sometimes we say, okay, how do I deal something in my mind? Using my free will. I should do this, do that, all the kind of things. That is free will at a secondary level. Primary free will is, what should I send into my mind? What should I send into my mind? Usually we don't think of that. We think, no, I have to be Krishna conscious in how I think. How I think about everything. That is secondary. What do you put inside your mind? You are analyzing about what? You are meditating on what? That is what the early morning what we are doing. It to ensure that we are filling our mind with Krishna, Krishna Katha, Krishna worship. And of all these things, the most powerful thing. And also when we hear, it is not the knowledge that we are hearing. Hearing Krishna name is same as hearing Krishna's Leela. When you hear Krishna Nama, there is no logic, there is no philosophy, nothing hearing the sounds. It is an energy, it's an internal energy of the Lord. There is no difference between Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, Parikara. Means what? Like Prabhupada says, you take ice candy, anywhere you lick, you're licking the ice candy. In the same way, one may say, oh, okay, today Bhagavatam class, little knowledge I got. It is not about little knowledge. It is about your soul, by hearing submissively, has touched the ocean of the internal energy. That energy, the touch with that energy keeps us away from three modes of material nature. Knowledge also, no doubt. But we should understand this whole process it's about energies. Satta, Chitta, and Ananda energies. Even in the holy name also, Prabhupada gives so many times the example of iron in the fire. Energy transfer by association. There is internal energy, there is external energy. Pure devotees of the Lord are able to transmit internal energy from their heart into your heart. When we understand this, then everything, internal energy means it's the ocean of Satta, Chitta, and Ananda. Pure existence, knowledge and bliss. Experience of pure existence, knowledge and bliss. And that is devotional service. That's the internal energy of the Lord. So if you put garbage in your head, you cannot get bhakti. All the social media, so many YouTube, one after the other, one reel after another reel, you go on watching. You should decide first content, what should I put inside my head? It is not that, I can put anything in my head and I can be Krishna conscious. No. Just like you cannot say, I will eat anything and be healthy. Kuch bhi khayega, I'll be healthy. Eating means what? Input. You're putting inside your stomach. But regarding mind, we don't think like that. Mind mein kuch bhi ja sakta hai. Huh? Can you be healthy? Can you be Krishna conscious and healthy if you put anything in your mind? And today Maya is so powerful that feed for your mind is available plenty. Open your mobile, it's available. Something you engage your mind, one after the other, one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. Krishna consciousness will not go. We have to be very careful with our mobile. We have to be very careful with internet. Modern Maya is through internet. At the same time, we use that also in Krishna's service. So we have to have, because we have to engage in, like today, all of Prabhupada's lecture is available on your ask on your mobile. So internet is great. YouTube is great, provided you choose the content. Technology is not bad. The content that the technology is propagating, Maya can also propagate. We can also propagate. We have to very carefully culture our bhakti by not putting nonsense in our mind. Garbage rasa, movie watching. Our life itself one movie. Why you want more movies? Our life itself is a movie. It's an adventure. It's a challenge. You cannot handle it in real terms. So you watch a movie, tika rasa. What happens in the movie really doesn't affect me, but rasa. How can you get bhakti rasa if you are enjoying movies? Because they're all illusory rasa in the material world. Everything is illusory rasa. Once you have decided to come to Prabhupada, you should be determined to go back to Godhead. Going back to Godhead is not about physically going back to Godhead. Going back to Godhead means our heart has to completely change. And the process is given by Srila Prabhupada. It's a very beautiful verse this is. Tat Joshanad Ashwa Apavarga Vartmani. Apavarga means liberation. Freedom from struggle for material existence. Simply by hearing. How by hearing? Hearing is not an intellectual activity. Hearing is a way of taking our spiritual energy into our heart. Today, if somebody wants to become Krishna conscious, there is plenty of source. Just like if you want garbage, there's plenty of source. If you want Krishna consciousness, plenty of source is there. Plenty of source of Krishna rasa. So therefore we have to choose what content we put in our mind, whether we want Maya rasa or Krishna rasa. Both you cannot have. Maya rasa is cheating rasa. Krishna rasa is real rasa. Those who don't want Krishna rasa, they are cheated with Maya rasa. Those who do not want to, those who want self-pleasure, they are deprived of love and joy of the soul in Krishna consciousness. Self-pleasure is the biggest enemy. Anandamayo bhyasat. Pleasure, ananda, is a principle of existence. But we have the joy of being enjoyed by Krishna. That means by being the servant, that gives us joy. That is our soul's real joy. Meantime, so many contaminations are there in our head. When you hear Srimad Bhagavatam, when you hear Prabhupada's purport, you clearly start differentiating between your real ego and false ego. Real ego enjoys joy and love of Krishna. Joy of service and love of Krishna. Real ego. And prasadam pleasures. Not only eating prasadam. For all senses, Krishna gives prasadam pleasure. Whereas in the material world, the primary function is what? Top and the priority is pleasures for my senses, pleasures for my mind. Whereas devotee Just like you don't eat bhoga, you want to eat only prasadam. Same principle is followed everywhere. Prasadam means Krishna given. Here, I want to give you pleasure for your senses. It tastes and gives prasadam. In the material world, what? Everybody is running after self-pleasure. Let me earn my pleasure. Let me earn my pleasure. That's called fruitive activity. If you are engaged in fruitive activity, you cannot enjoy, you cannot relish, you cannot awaken our Sevarasa. And all this, Prabhupada says, it's all about awakening our Krishna consciousness. It is not about one of them you choose. No. Krishna Rasa is your Rasa. Maya Rasa is not your Rasa. Is not your pleasure. It is a camouflaged, it is covered, it is false ego pleasure. The soul cannot enjoy material pleasures. In illusion he thinks through false ego. False ego means I am enjoyer. Another ego, I am the enjoyer and this body. So to practice this particular verse, we begin with proper, most important thing is stop all speculation and simply hear every mantra of your chanting with Shraddha that this is an ocean of internal energy is coming down. Nam Namakari Bauddha Nija Sarva Shakti. Sarva Shakti, Krishna Shakti means internal energy, internal Shakti. Satya Shakti, Chitta Shakti, Ananda Shakti. That's Satya Shakti. You don't have to speculate, you don't have to think and lot and all these things. Simply associating with Sat, Asat will go away. All false reading of this material world will go away. Sat replaces Asat. Chit replaces mental speculation. Start seeing things as they are. And you start exposing Ananda. When Ananda goes inside, then you start realizing that the material pleasures are cheating pleasures. They're cheating. Cheating means what? Somebody sells you a gilded gold for the price of gold. It's called cheating. So the Maya is so expert that the pleasures in this material world, for a moment, it is as good as pleasures in the spiritual world. The rasas. Then only if a duplicate gold to the jeweler, if he doesn't make pakka gold plating, outside if you see, कुछ मालूम नहीं होगा, पक्का गोल्ड ही है, उसका प्राइस दे देते हैं. Similarly, our minds ask, how do you say there is no pleasure in this world? We are experiencing so many pleasures. Yes, it is like the thin layer of gold on a gold plate. You have paid the price of gold. What is the price you are paying? You surrender your soul, surrender your all. Your soul is, spirit is very powerful. Is thinking, feeling, willing, desiring, all gone to enjoy. That is the price that you are paying. That means you are paying the price by surrendering yourself, not something that some money you give. No, it is your own. You are losing yourself. We all belong to Krishna, but we give ourselves to Maya. So it's not about, one is natural, Krishna consciousness, devotional joy, devotional pleasure of devotional service. These are all natural to the soul, constitutional to the soul. Other thing is called anartha, It is not the nature of the soul. So we have an inclination, natural constitutional inclination to enjoy Krishna consciousness. But we have been conditioned to think that material pleasure, so many false pleasure beliefs we have created. But all this thing will get pushed out of our mind. All our false beliefs will get pushed out by simply Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Because it's very powerful. Why after many years of japa, the transformation does not take place? Why that energy is not felt? That this is cheating pleasure, this is real pleasure. Why there is no realization that this is cheating? Because the energy has, internal energy has not gone inside every day. If you don't hear, Nama Prabhu simply stands at the gate of this ears. Only when you hear, he enters. And where is the soul? Soul is here. Where transformation should happen, where my spiritual taste should awaken, my lower taste should go and higher taste should come. Where is the taste? Rasa. Rasa is always in the heart. So unless the Nama goes into the heart, don't expect any miracles. You can be a social devotee, carry the bead bag and say, oh, I am ISKCON devotee. I am disciple. I have taken initiation. Become serious. There is no greater gift that is available that you have got in this life. Don't waste this life anymore. Become very serious rest of the life. Chant and hear nicely. Nothing in this world, your material life, your material friends, material parents, none of them can come with you. Whatever is required for self-preservation, you do. You have to work for keeping your body and mind together, keeping your family together. Minimum, you do that. Don't expand, just expand Krishna consciousness, expand reading. You need time. Maya, one of the way Maya cheats is what? By not giving us time, keeping us a prisoner. You devotees have to use your time as much as required for the body, for self-preservation. Body, family, self-preservation. Anything that you do for self-preservation, the scriptures say it is not called sense gratification. You have to sleep certain hours. Your all senses are there. They need a regulated little feeding. Just like if you don't eat every day, your brain, everything will starve. Preservation ke liye you have to eat. Eat prasadam. Like that. There are various regulations for self-preservation, whatever you do. Many people misunderstand. They think that, oh, no, unless I become a full-time devotee, I cannot practice this, what Prabhu is saying. No. If you design your life that I am earning or I am keeping money, I am after all these things for self-preservation. If I don't do this, my body will fall apart. My family will fall apart. So, self-preservation, you engage in activities that becomes devotional. Why? Because your self-preservation for what? You have decided to live for Krishna. I don't live anything anymore for my life. Because my life is a juta life. In this life I am born, I am Mr. So-and-so, Mrs. So-and-so. After I die, that Mrs., Mr. all gone, disappeared. Juta life. My soul is real. I want to work for my real life. So you should plan your day in such a way that Maya doesn't cheat and take away your time. Take away your time. Design your life properly. Engage in at least 5-6 hours of indifferent morning, evening, all put together. Or at least 3 hours. Out of that, 2 is most important. Soulfully chant. Mindfully, soulfully, spiritfully, heartfully, earfully, tonguefully chant your rounds. Now how we are chanting? Soulless, heartless, spiritless, mindless, tongue japa, tongueful japa. You will finish your 16 rounds. But it is, all other things are given to your thinking, this thing, that thing, so many things. Heart is somewhere else, analyzing some problem. Spirit is somewhere else. So Krishna has come down as sound. Give your whole self and do this 2 hours of nice japa. Then you will see so much of, you'll taste the Hrit Karna Rasayana. The ears and the heart will start liking to hear chanting Hare Krishna. From that attraction comes, from that devotion. Any questions? Yes.
Prabhu, you mentioned that we should lead a life of self-preservation and
Do activities.
do activities which is just enough for self-preservation and not anything more than that.
Yeah.
So, for a devotee who is practicing Krishna consciousness from outside, how does he decide this? Like, this much only I should do for my self-preservation? Because it's a very clear statement, just enough for the self-preservation. Because where does he draw the line? Because they also feel that there should be something kept for the future and for so many things. And so does that come under self-preservation?
It depends on your level of consciousness. A Brahmana's level of consciousness, he doesn't think of his tomorrow. But if your level of consciousness is not that much, then you may think, I may want to keep something for my future. That also comes under eating, sleeping, mating, defending. 4 things in a regulated way is self-preservation. 4th is defending. Defending means, one of the ways of defending is they'll think of their future. That's one of the ways of defending. In a regulated way. If you say, no, future में कुछ भी हो सकता है, इसलिए कमाते ही रहेंगे, कमाते ही रहेंगे, कमाते ही रहेंगे, that is Maya. You should depend on Krishna. Yes, reasonably, yes, yeah, I'll keep it. They can say, Grahasthas usually, Prabhupada explains, Grahasthas are allowed to think about some future thing. They can keep. But not for a sannyasi, not for a brahmachari. That they should not think. It's the opulence of a brahmachari, opulence of a sannyasi, or opulence of a, like Prabhupada's full-time missionary, Grahasthas. He said they are like brahmacharis. Is not to think of tomorrow. What comes of its own accord, he may keep. If he's a grahastha, he may keep. He doesn't chase that. He doesn't chase that. That defense, future of my life. He doesn't chase. In that sense, he doesn't sit and worry about it. And Krishna takes care. Ye tamam prapadyante tam sute bhajame. When you give your life to Krishna, do you ever have to worry that your self-preservation will be in danger? Impossible. Impossible. So that much Shraddha should be there.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
While chanting, some kind of planning that even if I don't want, it comes to my mind after sadhana, I have to do this, I have to do this service, that service. Then tomorrow I will go back, my train is at this time, that time. Even if I want, but these things are there, and sometimes I feel it requires also. Then I check from my phone, oh, I haven't seen this kind of thing. So, in this Kali Yuga, is it optional or is it my mistake?
No, it is mistake. Everybody thinks that it is very difficult to hear. Because I'll tell you why it is easy to hear. If you do something in a wrong way, you will never succeed. If I want to go to Krishna Balram temple, if I go outside and turn right and walk, will I ever reach? No, I have to go that side, isn't it? If you turn that side and walk and you say, and everybody does that, and say it is very difficult. Reaching Krishna Balaram temple is very difficult. But somebody who simply follows, very easily reaches. Is it not? So, you have to understand that mind is a crazy mind. Right? It keeps working according to the push of the kala and guna and karma. So there is a force for the mind on its own. It has a direction to go. Which means if you were to stop that force, you need a counter force. That counter force to lock the attention is coming from the Shabda. Therefore, first mala, you try this. One mala, through tapasya, deliberately lock the attention. All 16 man, through tapasya, no, mind will get tired. Forcefully, if you are hearing, mind will get tired. But if you're, it's early morning, that's why in early morning japa, you don't have anything in your head. In 10 beats or 15 beats, your attention gets locked. Chanting, hearing, chanting, hearing, chanting, hearing, chanting, hearing. Once it gets locked, there's a flow of energy from the Shabda. Then mind cannot, anything else cannot enter. Now, even if I say I don't want to enter, it will enter. Now, after doing this chanting and locking, you simply have to say, don't enter. This is my japa time. Chup baithega. Mind nahi layega. Because there is a Shakti there. Cheshta Shakti, Divya Cheshta Shakti comes from the Nama. You start tasting that chanting, hearing, you start tasting. It is not taste of Nama, but it is the taste of that Shakti. Even a neophyte can experience that. That is why first time when you chanted, nothing came in your mind. First mala, when somebody gave you. Because you did not know the mantra. So you are hearing very clearly. You are locked. बहुत अच्छा लगा. एक माला किया. अभी इतना माला करता है, तो माइंड उधर उधर घूमता है. एक माला में इतना खुशी हो गया जब शुरू किया. So there is you have to have faith that Krishna's Nama is a sound of unlimited consciousness. It is not an ordinary sound. So it has got Shakti in it to mind away. So therefore, this is first mala you should do. If your mind is very, very disturbed, sometimes you need more beats of deliberate hearing. What is the first mala? Chant and deliberately hear that. That means you have to make a sankalpa. You have to make a sankalpa to hear, and vikalpa. Vikalpa is negative determination. I will not think. Your sankalpa and vikalpa will not be strong unless there is a belief behind the sankalpa and vikalpa. What is a belief behind sankalpa? If I don't hear, I am not taking the ocean of Satchidananda into my heart. I am blocking it. I am not taking. So if I hear, I will dip my consciousness in Satchidananda. This faith, belief is required. And Vikalpa will be very strong if you have a belief that if I think, I cannot hear. If I don't hear, the ocean of unlimited consciousness, Satchidananda, who is before me, cannot enter and reach my heart. तो क्या लाभ है? तो बिलीफ होना है. अगर नाम अंदर जाएगा तो लाभ है, नाम नहीं जाएगा तो लाभ नहीं है, नष्ट है. Therefore, that belief, if you have strong belief about these things, you will have strong sankalpa and vikalpa, and see that you only hear every mantra you hear. In the beginning, don't try to hear every word, because it will tire your mind. You hear Nama Shabda, the string you hear, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, ek ho gaya, ek hai. If you're trying to concentrate, Hare Krishna, Hare sunna hai, Krishna sunna hai, Rama sunna hai, तो सो जाएगा शुरू में. But when your mind, just like you see a mountain from a distance, is all looking green, right? As you 1 round, 2 round, 3 rounds, you go on, when you go close and close, you don't have to struggle. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Every word, your mind is capable of hearing. It becomes capable of hearing. It becomes sharp and hear. So shuru mein, you try to hear the full string of 16 words. That is the Nama Avatara. And then deliberately hear each mala, each bead you hear, you will see that chanting hearing gets locked up. So first round is called Sankalpa Vikalpa Japa or Vidhi Purvaka Japa, and then it gets locked up. Then you will see that there is energy in it. You don't want to think of anything else. You yourself feel it's a distraction. When in normal time, when it is coming in your mind without this, you don't think it is a distraction. But when you know that it is taking you away from Krishna, then you know it is a distraction. So that realization will come also. Hey, this is a distraction. I don't want to go anything else to go inside. I only want to know Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. So ocean of Satchidananda, this Krishna himself, everything is there. Grandaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.